So let us start with the session 0. Okay, that means the pre-preparation of the interview. So when you are going to attend any of the interview, then there are set of questions that definitely come in front of you. So you should be better prepared of that one. Okay, so for technical part, you are not able to get all the information like what kind of a interviews you will face. But there are certain set of questions that are very standard questions, and then definitely out of all these questions, few questions will come to you. So it's good you should prepare about that one. Okay, the very first thing is about importance of the resume. Ensure your resume includes only the skills and technologies you genuinely understand and can confidently explain. You may also include areas where you have strong theoretical knowledge or hands-on practice in local or personal environment. Avoid listing anything you have never worked with or cannot articulate, as it may reflect poor during interviews. Okay, so that means your resume has a great importance. Okay, and when you share your resume, okay, you have to make sure that you provide all the skills and technologies you genuinely understand and can confidently explain. It doesn't mean if you haven't worked on any of the technologies in any professional environment, you should not include that one. Okay, you may also include areas where you have strong theoretical knowledge or hands-on practical in local or personal environment. So sometimes we do not have exposure to the real-time environment, but we learn it, we execute everything in our local systems, we do the POCs in our local systems, and then we capture a good understanding of the technologies, right? So if you have these kind of experience as well, where you have done certain kind of a POCs, you have a good theoretical knowledge, you have done few executions in your local environments, then definitely you can elaborate everything in your resume. Okay, if you are able to explain or elaborate at least 60 to 70% of that particular technology. Okay, the main thing, avoid listing anything you have never worked with or cannot articulate, as it may reflect poorly during interview. So if you do not have knowledge on any of the technical stack, make sure do not include that in your profile, because the some of the questions or at the beginning of the interviews you may get only from the resume. Okay, so if you have written something in your resume but which you are not able to explain, okay, it make a very bad impact. Okay, so make sure do not list any of the things that you have never worked on. Okay, and apart from that, you are open to include any technology where you have worked theoretically, practically, and if you have a knowledge which you can explain. Second thing, what's your total and relevant experience? So there would be a questions like, what is your total experience? What is your relevant experience? So that means you have to elaborate like what is your total experience, okay, since you came in the industry. Okay, and then relevant experience means suppose you are giving an interview for the WebLogic server. So what is the relevant out of that? So maybe you have a 10 year of experience in the industry, but for the WebLogic you may have worked for 2 years, 3 years. Okay, so you can specify that one. Okay, since how long you have been in the industry, and then since how long you have been working in the particular stack like the middleware or the WebLogic server. Where are you working currently and how long? And then to get some knowledge about the organization where you are working currently. Okay, just to understand that if it is what kind of organization it is. Okay, and this gives some impression like if you have a certain set of organizations where there are certain set of standard process, right, for the support, for the real time environments, for change management, for incident management. Okay, just to get some understanding of that. Okay, there would be a question like, what is your current organization name, where are you working currently, and since how long you are working there. Now, tell me about yourself, your experience, your middleware backgrounds. This is very important questions. Okay, then definitely you are going to get this question. Tell me about yourself, your experience, your middleware background or WebLogic background. Okay, so question could be like, could you walk me through your professional background and your experience in middleware or WebLogic technologies. Okay, so this is important to understand here. You have to elaborate mostly on the technical part, not on your personal life. Okay, you may add on some your personal details as well. Okay, but most of the part of this particular question should be addressed in the technical way. Okay, what is your total experience, and since how long you have been working in the particular WebLogic. Okay, and then what kind of activities that you are doing, or what kind of activities or experience that you have specifically in the executions of the middleware or the WebLogic server. Other important question would be, what are your day-to-day responsibilities? Okay, this is to understand your practical knowledge. Okay, and when you say about day-to-day responsibilities, then what exactly you does in your environment? If you're in a support, if you're working as a WebLogic admin, okay, you have to elaborate. If you're in a support, then what kind of a support activities that you are doing on daily basis, okay, like you monitor the status of your environment, WebLogic server, using what kind of a different tools that you have here in your environment for monitoring, or maybe you are doing certain kind of a monitoring from the WebLogic consoles. Then on regular basis, you do certain kind of a deployments, you do the start stop your applications, and then you do certain kind of regular configurations of your GMS, your data sources, okay. And then apart from that, if you are doing regular patching, upgrade, okay, so what kind of responsibilities that you have been handling, or the activities that you are doing on day-to-day basis, okay? So there are certain activities like upgrade, patching. This cannot be day-to-day basis, okay? This is some regular activities. When you have a major versions, then you have upgrade. Then there is a quarterly patches released by the Oracle. So in every end of quarter or beginning of the next quarter, you may have to apply for the patches. But day-to-day responsibilities are like monitoring the WebLogic server, starting, stopping, doing the troubleshooting. Sometimes you have a different kind of issues in your WebLogic server. You may take the heap dump, thread dump. You monitor the heap size. You look for the log files, right? So you'll try to elaborate all these things properly, okay? And because this gives a good impression if you really have a good practical knowledge or not on the WebLogic server. Okay, then which WebLogic versions you have worked on? What versions are you working currently? Okay, this is a kind of a question that to get an understanding if you are really in sync with the latest trends of the WebLogic server or not, if you are in sync with the latest enhancement features of the WebLogic server or not, on if you are really working on the WebLogic server or not. Okay, so you have to articulate or you have to understand that what are the current versions of WebLogic server in the market, what were the previous versions, okay, and then certain comparison of that, okay, what is the new features in the current versions, and then a short comparison with the older versions like 11G, 12C, okay, this will I will cover in the next session, this in the next technical session, okay. So in a nutshell, you can say that you have a good knowledge about a complete chain of the WebLogic server versions, at least the current versions and of last couple of years versions. What is the current version in the market and what were the previous versions at least last 4 to 5 years. Okay. Then last thing is confidence matter, highlight continuous learning. So whenever you are giving an interview, okay, your confidence always does matter. Okay, so highlight continuous learning. Okay, there are certain situations, okay, where you may not able to answer properly, you may not able to articulate properly, you may have not worked on some of the technologies that is getting in questions. Okay, so that time you can highlight that you are like a continuous learner. Okay, if you at that this particular moment I do not have a proper knowledge of this particular topic. Okay, and but I am a continuous learner, so if I get the opportunity, then I will take a couple of days of a time to understand it. But I am confident that I can handle it this as well. I can understand it properly, and I can handle and execute this as well properly. Okay, so that means it shows your confidence level. It shows that you are a continuous learner because as of now in the today's world that where the technologies are getting changed day by day, there are new things are coming every couple of days. Okay, so definitely you have to be a good continuous learner to understand new technologies, new enhancement. Okay, so that now everybody is expecting it from everywhere for every person, right? So make sure the confidence matters and highlight you are a continuous learner. Avoid guessing. The important thing, do not guess answers. If you are unsure, it's better to say I am not certain at the moment rather than giving incorrect information which reflect a lack of experience. Sometimes it has happened that maybe some of the topics you worked on and you have some knowledge on that, but you are not able to recall that one. So that particular topic you can able to guess. There is no harm on that one. Okay, you can articulate in the way that okay, yes, I have a knowledge on this one. I worked on this one, and this is the knowledge that I have as of now about this one. And but I'm not able to recall everything at the moment. Okay, but if you know that you have zero knowledge about other particular topic that have been asked, okay, do not guess anything, do not give any incorrect information of that particular topic. Okay, that is the other important thing. Now, key challenges. Describe 2 or 3 major challenges that you have encountered in WebLogic and you have addressed them. So this question is very important, like to understand your the level of your knowledge. Okay, what kind of major issues or challenges that you have encountered in your previous organizations. Okay, so whether you are a WebLogic admin or you are in a support. Okay, so there could be a different set of responsibilities. Like you are a WebLogic admin, then you may have some challenges when you were doing certain clustering kind of a setup. Okay, or maybe when you were doing the integration with the some web servers. Okay, and if you're in a support, then you may have a problem with the WebLogic server instances where you troubleshooted some heap problems. You have done some analysis of the thread dumps. There was like some continuous problems which you helped to identify and solve. So before going for an interview, make sure to get any two or three challenges in your mind that you have encountered in your environment previously. Even you have not, okay, but you understand some of such kind of a use cases. If you have a good knowledge, okay, you have a good knowledge of the executions, but it is possible that you may have not encountered any such challenges. But uh, for a preparation, okay, you just try to study few of the key challenges in the WebLogic server environment, okay, that will help you to understand what kind of a major challenges that we may face in the environment, okay, and how to handle that one. So that part you can elaborate here as well. About organization. So what do you know about our organization? What is the name? So that means for whatever organization you are going to give the interview, okay, make sure to take 15 minutes of a time. Just do the Google on your search on your internet, okay, and then get some knowledge about the organization. Okay, like the kind of a work that organization is dealing. If it is a consultancy, it is a product-based company, and when it was founded, who is the chairman, who is the MD, okay, and what all are the countries where the organization operations are there. Okay, what is the strength of organization, what is the culture of organization. So try to get some sort of knowledge about the organization which you can able to elaborate in the interview. Okay, so these are the very important questions, okay, that you definitely going to face in the interview, and it is good to have a pre-preparation of all these interviews.